The Caribbean sun burned low over Canouan as the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City prepared for what Heather Gay promised would be a luxurious, drama-free escape. The glistening superyacht swayed gently in the turquoise water, its white decks shining like a diamond under the fading light. Laughter floated in the air as glasses clinked and heels clicked against the polished wood, but beneath the surface of glamour and champagne, tension was already brewing. Quiet, invisible, and ready to explode. Heather Gay had gone all out for this trip. "We're going to the islands, ladies," she'd said just a week earlier, her voice bursting with excitement. "And not just any islands. Canouan. Captain Jason Chambers himself has offered his yacht. It's going to be unforgettable." Those words turned out to be more prophetic than she realized, because what started as a vacation for bonding was about to become the most explosive confrontation of the season. Lisa Barlow arrived looking flawless, her sunglasses glinting as she stepped aboard with the confidence of someone who'd been here before. Meredith Marks followed, cool and composed, her tone calm but her eyes sharp, scanning every corner of the deck like a detective searching for clues. Whitney Rose floated in last, glowing, smiling, the peacemaker of the group, or at least she tried to be. Heather, standing at the head of the table, looked proud, her voice cutting through the sea breeze. "This," she said, gesturing to the sparkling waves, "is our chance to reset. No grudges, no secrets, just us." But secrets never stay buried on a Bravo yacht. The dinner began beautifully. Gold-rimmed plates, chilled rosé, laughter that actually felt genuine. For a brief moment, it looked like the Housewives might actually pull off a peaceful evening. Yet, as the drinks kept flowing and the sun disappeared, something shifted in Heather's tone. The calm turned sharp. The air around her seemed to harden as she put her glass down, leaned forward, and said the words that sent shockwaves through the deck. "I don't care about anyone outside this table," Heather said, voice steady but cold. "And I just want to be real with you. I think you're the source of all the dirt, Lisa." The silence that followed was deafening. Forks froze midair. Even the ocean seemed to pause. Lisa blinked, caught between confusion and disbelief. "Wait, what? You think I'm the source of what?" she asked, her tone rising with each word. Heather didn't flinch. "The leaks, the rumors, the mess that keeps following us. I think it's you." Whitney exchanged a look with Meredith, both of them hesitating before Whitney spoke softly, almost apologetically. "It's just that you always seem to know things before the rest of us. Like information finds you." Meredith nodded, adding, "And when you're upset, Lisa, something always gets out. People talk." Lisa laughed, a sharp defensive sound. "That's so dumb," she snapped, her eyes narrowing on Meredith. "You of all people should know better. I hope you had my back on this." Meredith kept her gaze calm, steady. "I told them I hoped it wasn't true," she said evenly. But Lisa wasn't satisfied. "No," she fired back. "We don't hope it's not true. It's not true. People tell me things and suddenly I'm the villain? You all love to blame me because I don't bow down." That's when the evening changed completely. Whitney tried to soften the blow. "Lisa, we're not blaming you. It's hard to ignore the pattern." But Lisa wasn't listening anymore. Her composure cracked, her voice shaking with a mix of anger and hurt. "You think I'm leaking things to the blogs? You think I care that much? I have a business, a family, and a life that doesn't revolve around your gossip." Heather's voice was firm but strangely calm. "Then why does it always come back to you?" she said. "Every time something personal spreads, somehow your name's attached." Lisa slammed her napkin on the table, standing abruptly. "Maybe because I'm the only one people talk to," she shouted. "You all complain to me, you vent to me, and when it leaks, suddenly it's my fault?" Her words echoed against the walls of the yacht, her anger vibrating through the air. "This is pathetic." Meredith folded her arms, unbothered. "No one's calling you pathetic, Lisa. We're just questioning the coincidence." "The coincidence?" Lisa repeated with a bitter laugh. "Right, because God forbid someone else here take accountability." The mood was now beyond repair. What started as an elegant dinner had turned into a full-blown interrogation. The plates of grilled seafood sat untouched, the candles flickered dangerously in the wind, and Heather, trying to stay composed, glanced toward the ocean as if hoping the waves could swallow the tension. Whitney shifted in her chair, uncomfortable. "Can we just enjoy the night? Please?" she pleaded, but her voice was drowned by the chaos around her. Lisa leaned over the table, pointing directly at Heather. You invited me on this yacht just to humiliate me, didn't you? This isn't about bonding. It's about blame. You want someone to throw under the bus, and I'm convenient. Heather exhaled slowly, shaking her head. You're twisting it, Lisa. I wanted honesty. Well, here's honesty, Lisa said, her voice trembling but fierce. You're all fake, every single one of you. She turned sharply, her heels clicking against the deck as she stormed away from the table. Whitney called after her, but Lisa didn't stop. The sound of her footsteps faded into the night, replaced by the soft crash of waves against the yacht's hull. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence felt heavier than before, filled with everything unsaid. Heather stared at her glass, Meredith looked out over the water, and Whitney whispered, This trip was supposed to bring us closer. Down below deck, Angie Katsanevas, watching the confrontation through FaceTime, couldn't hide her smirk. Well, she said to no one in particular, that didn't take long. Captain Jason, overhearing fragments of shouting from above, gave a knowing look to his crew. Housewives and calm seas never mix, he muttered. Better keep the life vests handy. As the night went on, the group fractured into small corners of the yacht. Heather tried to explain her side to Whitney, insisting she wasn't attacking Lisa, but searching for the truth. Meredith stayed quiet, calculating, her mind already spinning with thoughts of what this meant for her own alliances. Lisa, isolated and fuming, sat near the bow with her phone, her screen glowing in the darkness. She typed a message, one she knew would stir the pot even more. By midnight, whispers had started spreading again. Someone had overheard Lisa making a call. Someone else swore they saw her texting a well-known blogger. The irony was almost poetic. The very accusation she denied seemed to be unfolding in real time. Whether she was guilty or not, perception was reality on this yacht, and the tide had turned against her. But the drama didn't end there. Because as dawn approached, something else happened, something that would flip the dynamic once again. Heather woke early, her phone buzzing with a private message from someone unexpected. She slipped out quietly, padding across the deck barefoot as the first light touched the horizon. She answered the call, and Captain Jason's voice came through, calm but firm. Heather, he said, I need to talk to you about something that happened last night. Her heart raced. What do you mean? She whispered. Jason hesitated. There's been an issue. Something you should probably see before the others wake up. Heather's stomach sank. The air around her felt suddenly heavy, thick with the weight of secrets and salt. She followed Jason toward the bridge, unaware that one of the other housewives had already overheard her conversation from behind a half-open door. The golden sunrise washed over the Canouan horizon, calm and innocent, as if mocking the chaos that had unraveled the night before. The yacht rocked gently in the early morning tide, but inside, the tension was anything but gentle. Heather Gay moved quietly across the deck, her heart pounding as she followed Captain Jason to the bridge. Her phone still buzzed with unanswered texts from Whitney and Meredith, but she ignored them. Whatever Jason needed to show her, it was serious. Jason's usually relaxed expression was gone. His tone was sharp, almost cautious. I don't like getting in the middle of your drama, he began, his Australian accent cutting through the salty air, but something happened last night that could be a big problem for your group. He turned the monitor toward her, revealing security footage from the yacht's deck cameras. Heather leaned in, squinting at the screen, her breath catching as the image came into focus. It was Lisa, standing near the bow, phone in hand, pacing back and forth while the rest of the women were downstairs. Her voice carried faintly through the recording, angry, emotional, and unmistakably talking to someone about what had just gone down. Heather's stomach twisted. Jason hesitated. I don't know who she was calling, he said carefully, but my crew overheard her saying something about sending the real story out before they spin it. We didn't want to overstep, but his voice trailed off. Heather's face paled. She's leaking again, she whispered, before we've even left Canouan. By the time the other housewives began to stir, the rumor had already started spreading. Meredith was the first to hear it, from a random crew member who'd caught wind of Jason's late-night conversation. Whitney overheard them talking and immediately rushed to find Heather, but Heather was nowhere to be seen. Down below deck, Lisa was on her phone again, her tone defensive and quick. "It wasn't me," she snapped to whoever was on the other end. "They're trying to set me up." When she walked into the breakfast area, every pair of eyes turned toward her. Heather was waiting, arms folded, the captain's report in hand. "You want to explain this?" she asked coolly. Lisa blinked, feigning confusion. "Explain what?" Heather placed the printout on the table. "You were on the phone last night. You said you were going to make sure your side of the story got out first. And guess what? An article just dropped this morning, detailing everything that happened at dinner before it even airs." Meredith's phone buzzed with the notification. "Lisa Barlow accused of sabotaging RHOSLC yacht trip," the headline read. Whitney gasped. Angie, who had joined them on deck now, let out a low whistle. "Oh, wow," she murmured. "That's fast, too fast." Lisa's face flushed red. "You really think I'd call a blogger at midnight? That's insane," she snapped. Heather stayed calm but firm. "Then who did?" she demanded. Lisa exhaled hard, her voice trembling. "I was talking to my husband. I was upset. You ambushed me in front of everyone, and I needed to vent. But sure, twist it however you want." The group was divided. Whitney believed her. Meredith didn't. Angie just wanted more tea. The air grew hotter by the minute as accusations flew back and forth, voices overlapping, emotions peaking. Captain Jason stood at a distance, arms crossed, watching the storm unfold. "I told them this wasn't a calm charter," he muttered to a crew member. "This is a Bravo hurricane." Whitney stepped between them, her voice shaky. "Enough. You're both hurting each other. This was supposed to be a bonding trip." But Heather wasn't backing down. "You don't get it, Whitney," she said, turning sharply. "Every single time something leaks, Lisa's name comes up, and now we have proof that she's at least talking about it behind our backs." Lisa threw up her hands. "Proof? You have nothing but a video of me on my phone. That's not proof, that's paranoia." Then the unthinkable happened. Heather's phone buzzed again. A new message. She glanced down and froze. It was from an anonymous number, with a screenshot of a private group chat among the Housewives, a chat that only 5 people were in. Every message was there, word for word. Someone had leaked the entire thing. Heather's eyes widened. "Oh my God," she whispered. "It's not just the dinner, the entire group chat's online." Meredith grabbed her phone, scrolling in disbelief. "This can't be happening," she muttered. Whitney's face drained of color. "Who could have?" she started, but stopped when she saw Lisa's expression. Lisa wasn't angry anymore. She looked genuinely horrified. "I didn't do this," she said quietly, shaking her head. "I swear to you, this isn't me." For a moment, no one spoke. The realization hit them all like a wave. They had been so busy accusing each other, they never stopped to think someone else might be pulling the strings. Someone who wasn't even in the room. Heather lowered her phone slowly. "If it's not you, then who?" Lisa looked around at the faces of the women she'd known for years, her voice trembling. "Someone has access to everything we send. Someone's playing us." Captain Jason stepped forward, clearing his throat. "You might want to know," he said. "We had a tech crew on board before you arrived, installing Wi-Fi routers and media equipment. If one of them left a system open, anyone could have seen your messages." The silence was heavy. Whitney covered her mouth. Meredith looked stunned. Heather whispered, "So we've been blaming each other for something none of us did." The tension broke not with shouting this time, but with exhaustion. The women sat in stunned quiet, the sound of the waves filling the space where accusations once flew. Lisa looked at Heather and whispered, "You wanted honesty. There it is. I'm not your enemy." For the first time, Heather didn't argue. She nodded slowly, eyes softening. "Then maybe we both owe each other an apology." By sunset, the air had shifted. They weren't friends again, not yet, but there was a fragile understanding, the kind that comes only after chaos burns everything else away. The women gathered on deck one last time, watching the light fade behind the horizon. Heather raised her glass quietly. "To surviving the storm," she said. Lisa gave a small, tired smile. "And to whoever's reading our messages," she added dryly. "Hope you're entertained." The group laughed softly, real laughter this time, not the forced kind. For a moment, it almost felt peaceful. Captain Jason looked on from the helm, shaking his head with a grin. "Only the Housewives," he said under his breath. "Only them." As the camera panned out over the glowing Caribbean Sea, the yacht drifted forward into the twilight, carrying with it 6 women who'd come looking for paradise but found something else instead. Truth, chaos, and just a hint of redemption.